and welcome to episode 3 of Tuesdays with Gurus. This week we've got a slightly different show for you, so it's a little bit of the edited version, because yesterday we had a fantastic guest in the show, Mr. Marco Robinson, an award-winning entrepreneur, #1 best-selling author. So you're gonna see where we actually got asked a question by one of our actual business clients on Rosa actually has a property agency in Singapore, and she's struggling to attract agents into her business. So Marco talks about the mindset of how to get around that and what she needs to do in that business, and then he talks about the law that you need in your business. It's a fantastic episode. Hope you enjoy, and hope to see you again next week. Thank you.
Right, so she could write a very small ebook, say 20, 30 pages, okay, and what she's actually achieved through her property business to give tips to real estate agents to sell more properties. That might be her particular niche, right? And she needs to get that book online, get it on a website. If she's not got a website, she needs to definitely get one.
Got one.
Get it on there and put a call to action on the website. Sign up for my, newsletter and get a free book. And she also needs to create a newsletter of value. So she could give sales training tips to her prospective database every single week. And she could start to become an authority on what she's doing. So she's creating a brand.
Right.
So what she needs to really focus on is to create her personal brand in her business. And what she can also do, while I'm thinking of it, I might forget, is she can also partner with other people that have achieved a lot more in sales, maybe than she has, and she can give their tips out on her website.
Like an affiliate.
Like an affiliate. So, for example, she could be an affiliate of me or Brian Tracy, someone like that. Now, I'm a world record sales holder, you're a record collection officer, collecting the most money world record. So if she establishes herself and partners with people that have achieved those things, she's going to get more hits on the site. And then she's going to create more value. Right? So once she starts, that's a process that never stops. But that's initially what she's got to get going. The other thing she needs to really think about is to hold seminars for real estate agents to improve the sales.
Right.
Now, in Singapore right now, and in fact, the rest of the world, the economy is depressed. Right. That means there are not. In fact, I can give you a statistic very relevant in Singapore. In December, there were 63% less real estate transactions in Singapore.
Wow.
Right. Now, how about that for a deal breaker? So you've got nearly 70% less transactions. That means that more real estate agents are going to become desperate for more deals. So what they're doing on Facebook, they're trying to co-broke. They're trying to attract other real estate agents to co-broke and sell a particular development. Right. Now, a lot of the reason that transactions are down in Singapore and the rest of the world, because basically people are very afraid about what's going to happen to the economy globally. And Singapore, the property prices are actually now starting to come down. So
they've actually said the European crisis over there.
European crisis
is going to ripple over.
It will ripple, but Singapore is a very small country, so it doesn't really affect it for a long time. There's only 5 million people. It's a very small island, and to be honest, it's one of the best economies in the world. If you look at Singapore as a micro market. However, in that market, real estate agents are not making as much money. So what she could also do is think about creating value in her product suite, where she's not just selling Singapore properties. She might want to sell different properties around the world that are giving a better return that her agents can sell for her.
Because that'll make it easier for them to sell.
Correct.
So
like if you go to the US, for example, the US now is the best property market to get a return from 15 to 20% rental yields. In Singapore, you get 1 to 2% return. So when you buy a property in Singapore, you don't get any cash flow. And people are put off by that, so they don't want to invest now. So
and that's probably one of the reasons then why
that curve has gone down like that.
There's transactions are down.
And if transactions are down, that's why they're going to be even more scared to move over to somebody else, because they want to stay what they know.
Because they want to stay there. They want to try and be loyal and get more deals. So it's kind of like a very shrinking market, and that means it's a shrinking mindset. So she's got to create new ways, be creative to offer real estate agents value, like giving them a free training course for half a day, invite them along, and give them some tips on selling, and maybe invite me or someone else who's sold lots of property. That's one of the things I've done. And give a free talk. So that means once she gets a professional speaker there with kind of lots of achievements, more people are going to show up. And if she has a partnership with someone like me or somebody else, she's going to create more value and perception to people with a brand.
What about her mindset though? Because she's going to have a mindset there of why should I help other agents that are working for other people? So how does she deal with that?
That's a very, very common objection or common limiting belief from people like us suggest ideas to them.
Yeah.
Now, the reason they don't do it is because they're afraid of loss. They're afraid that if they give free information to a competitor, they're going to use it for themselves.
Yeah.
Right? That's a very common perception. Now, I can tell you that if the existing business is not giving them the value or not giving that real estate agent that training, they're going to start to ask questions. Well, hang on a minute, why aren't you giving me that training? Why is she giving me that training?
Yeah.
Now, to be frank, it's not going to be an overnight thing. It's going to take a while for her to establish herself if she wants to do this.
Yeah.
So she's got to be, the second thing she's got to be is consistent. Because a lot of people offer seminars, but they don't last very long.
Right.
And they disappear overnight.
Yeah.
So she's got to have a consistent training program or value-add service that people can think, oh, this woman's long-term.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people right now think she's not long-term.
Right.
Or maybe think that, so therefore that's another reason not to do it.
Yeah.
She's got to create more reasons for them to transfer over rather than less reasons.
And when she sees more people turning up to those programs, things like that, they'll feel more secure about what she's
There's
doing anyway.
social proof.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if she does a seminar, there's 100 people there, they go, oh my gosh, all these people are coming here. This must be something good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only way she's going to get lots of people there is by getting speakers that are well known, that attract large audiences that have written best-selling books and achieved certain records in sales of what she's done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, on her own right now, she's not going to attract enough people.
So she needs to leverage off that.
She needs to partner.
Partner.
She needs to partner.
Partner.
Yeah,
Partner, Rosa, partner.
she needs to partner. Absolutely. That's a massive critical success factor in attracting people to even talk to her in the first place. When the people see you're associated with someone of repute, they pay you more attention.
Yeah.
Because they want to get their attention,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is.
Right, okay.
So she's got to create a lot more value and a value proposition to her prospective audience.
Excellent. So there you have it. And this is the guy who's got a multi-million-dollar business, multi-million-dollar property
Yep,
owner,
yep.
has an award-winning business as well, also an award-winning entrepreneur.
World record
So-
sales holder.
World record sales holder, so that's good advice for you, Rosa. So we hope you're listening, and we hope you take what's been said on board.
But fundamentally, she's got to follow the law of
I was
business.
just about to say, do you want to tell everybody about, you did a fantastic blog last week.
Yeah, so I shared something on Facebook last week in my blog about, the 4 things you really need generally to be successful in your business. And a lot of people don't really know what that means. They think it's marketing, they think it's sales, they think it's looking after the profit and loss. Now those are mechanical and physical things you have to do to support getting the cash flow in. But behind all of that, there has to be a driving force. Because in today's market, in today's competitive environment, there's more competition than any other time in the world.
Yeah.
There's more people doing the same thing than at any other time in the world.
Yeah.
And there's more people copying the same business as you at this time in the world. If you go to China and open a restaurant in a town of a certain niche like Balinese cuisine in Shanghai, within a week there'll be someone next door with the same restaurant.
Yeah.
So it's an extremely aggressive marketplace. Now, the driving force behind a business is not the marketing, is not the sales, it's not the profit and loss, it's the person behind it who's doing it. Because there has to be a reason for them to go out there, despite all that competition, despite all that resistance, despite all that overwhelming market resistance. So the four laws begins, well, number 1 begins with love. So law, the L stands for love. Now, that means you have to love what you do.
Yeah.
You have to love what you do so much, there is no doubt, for example, oh, is this the right thing I'm doing? If you have that kind of doubt, you don't love what you do. That's a very simple equation. So stop doing what you're doing. So you've got to really love what you do. When you love what you do, it's a very high energy level. And there's a book that you actually referred to me by Dr. David Hawkins called Power versus Force.
Yeah.
And it goes into the different energy levels of different values.
Yeah.
So like, I think one of the lowest values is anger or courage or something like that.
Anger, I think.
Yeah.
No, anger.
Anger's actually quite high.
Anger's quite high.
Anger's quite high. Courage is lower than anger.
Yeah.
Desire is very low.
Yeah.
Desire is extreme. You know, when you've got desire, okay, you've got desire, but it's not a burning desire. It's not like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I need to do this now.
Yeah.
So you've got to really look. It's very high on the energy level. It makes you when you love what you do, you think about it all the time.
Yeah.
You want to do it all the time. You've got no excuses, and it pulls you through problems.
Yeah.
You know, like Rosa loves what she does, so she's asking questions about how to get
Yeah.
to the next stage of her business,
Yeah.
not am I doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the difference between continuing and growing or giving up and changing your business.
Yeah.
And to be frank with you, most people, when they get to certain stages in the business, what they do is they give up and try something else because they
Yeah.
think that's the right thing to do, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So she's got to really love, everyone's got to really love what they do, with not passionately, just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you love it, your whole spirituality, your whole body, your whole mind, your whole physicality is at one.
And
There's
it
no...
also got, like you said as well, it carries you over those, pulls you through problems, doesn't
Yeah.
it? Helps you do long hours.
Yeah.
16-hour days, 18 hours.
You know, if you look at, for example, if you think about, there's so many stories, but if you think about Sylvester Stallone when he came up with the first Rocky movie in 1975, right?
Yeah.
Now he had no money, and he not written a film yet, but he knew he wanted. He was like a very part-time actor, wasn't making any money at all,
Yeah.
living day to day, working in restaurants. And he asked a question: how can I become richer? How can I become richer? How can I be famous? How can I be famous? How can I be famous? So one night, he got the answer to his questions. The film called Raging Bull came on the TV with Rocky Marciano.
Yeah.
Rocky Marciano.
Yeah.
He watched the film, and in that night got the idea to create a story called Rocky, and he wrote the script in one night, didn't sleep.
Wow.
Right? He wrote the script in one night, didn't sleep. And then he was so excited, loved what he was doing, it's fantastic. And what he did, he went to see the agents, because he wanted to get the film made, but he didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So the love got him to go and see the agents, got him to write the
Right.
script. However, he loved it so much that he said to the agent, said, listen, I want to make this movie, it's going to be a fantastic movie, but the condition is you must make me the main character and the main star. And when he said that to the first agents that he saw, they laughed at him because of the way he spoke.
Yeah.
You got to make me the star. You got to make me the main actor. You got to do this. I'm not doing the film. Right? That's how he
quite a good
talked.
Rocky impression.
He talked a bit better than that, but you know what I mean, because he wasn't an experienced actor, had no track record at all, so they didn't. But they just laughed at him. And he went for every agent he could find, and the love really pushed him to do that, even though he had no money.
Yeah.
And one day, what happened then? That's right. One day he was so poor. He had a dog, and his dog was called Buttkiss. And actually, his dog is in the first Rocky movie.
Oh, okay.
And one day he was so poor he had to sell his dog,
Wow.
and he sold his dog for $50.
Wow.
Right? And eventually, after seeing about 50 agents, one agent loved the script so much they said, "Right, Rocky, we're going to give you $250,000 to make the film, but we don't want you in it." Now, you got no money, you sold your dog, you got no food, you're working part-time, what would you do, Rob?
Well, I know what most people would do. They'd take the money.
They take the money straight away because they were desperate, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between not loving what you do and loving what you do. And he said, no, I'm not accepting that, I've got to be starring in the film. And he said no to $250,000.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. And then he went to the next agency and told these guys offered me $250, but they wouldn't let me star in it. So the next agency, they kind of offered the same kind of thing because other people were offering the same things. And eventually, he got the agent that offered him $250 to come down to $200 and agreed to put him in the film. So he got what he wanted.
Yeah.
And the film became one of the most successful films of all time. He won the best Oscar for Best Picture in that film.
Yeah.
Right? Amazing success story. And one of the other funny stories is that he wanted to get his dog back. Now, the new owner of the dog wouldn't let the dog go. And he wasn't as desperate as Rocky. So Sylvester Stallone paid $15,000 to get his dog back.
Wow.
$15,000 he paid because he loved the dog so he hated. For him, that was the last resort. For him, that was the deal clincher or the deal breaker.
Yeah.
Right now, when
Yeah.
dog's gone, you got to do something.
Yeah.
So because he loved what he did, his energy was immense. So when he was talking to friends or people that he was meeting, he was always talking about with the film.
Yeah.
All he was talking about was the film. So people were attracted to him because he was so enthusiastic about what he was doing. So number one is love.
And we know how far that took him. We're on Rocky what now? 7, 8?
I might be dead before 8. I might have another one. So the next thing in terms of law, the only law, is the A, because love is brilliant. However, It has to have some reason. So the A is acceptance. Acceptance. You have to accept where you are now.
Okay.
Right now, this is a big deal. And it's also interesting to note that acceptance is higher than desire, higher than courage, higher than anger, very high level of energy. Because when you accept the things the way they are, you kind of relax. Your mind relaxes.
Yeah.
Your mind's not stressed out. You relax initially. You accept where you are, and if you don't know how to do something, you have to accept that you have to learn it or give up.
Yeah.
So you start to reason, and reasoning's a very high level of energy, because your brain, it takes your brain to think about what you have to do.
Yeah.
What acceptance does, it reasons out the structure of the steps to reach the goal. It says, right, I love what I do, but I've got to start doing this. So for example, I've got to start improving my brand. I've got to write an ebook. I've got to start doing seminars. I've got to partner. So it structures out what you have to do. It's an acceptance of what you need to do.
Right.
And once you've got that acceptance, you're not going to get that stressed feeling or a giving up kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You're not going to go, oh, I don't know what to do, oh my God, it's all my fault, I know. Then you start beating yourself up, you blame everybody else, and you start to become a victim, which gets you nowhere.
Or they question that love.
And they start
then
to
doubt
question
it,
that love, and they
whether
start
they
to
should be
doubt.
doing it.
And that's what creates victims. That's why most people are victims in life, not heroes. She has to be a hero. She has to take the heroic journey. But heroic journey doesn't mean she has to be a Superman or something like that. She just have to accept where she is and learn the next step, because everything can be learned. You know, I left school at 16. You left school young. I've got no qualifications because
About
I'm
9 when I left.
because I knew that it wasn't the place for me. I didn't get anything. Didn't love it, so I had to get out of it as soon as I could. So you see, a lot of people think when you leave school early, you're stupid or thick, or you've got no brain, or you can't think, or you can't reason. That's absolutely a misconception. We know that now.
Yeah.
You know, even the Steve Jobs didn't go to university. In fact, Steve Jobs was an orphan, and he was a child of two.
Or fostered,
He was a child of two university graduates who gave him away as an orphan, and he was raised by working class parents who had no money. And he said to his parents, "I'm not going to go to college because I don't want you to pay the college fees." So he didn't go. And look what happened to him.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Gates the same. So all that's a misconception. So Rosa, for example, and anybody else in business have to accept where they are, and you have to accept what you need to do to get there.
And that acceptance as well, that means in business as well, they've got to, what's the word, they've got to be brutally honest with themselves when they use that acceptance.
They've got to analyse why, reason, they're not getting what they want.
Yeah, and why they're in the position they're in.
Yeah, and they have, to make that acceptance even stronger, they have to have a mentor to feed back from.
Yeah.
Right, now, those are the two first letters of law. The next letter is the W. So the W, a lot of people, I asked people what they thought the W would be. A lot of people, said wealth or, way to go and all this kind of thing. But actually the W means win.
Win.
Win. So it doesn't mean you have to win everything at all costs. A lot of people make that mistake, right? Because when you have to win at all costs, it's very stressful to your body, your mind, and your spirit, and you kind of you get into an early grave.
And can't you rush blindly into things as well if you...
Yeah, that's what it really is.
Yeah.
It's not winning at all costs, it's actually winning from every situation you're in.
Right.
So if you're Rosa or anybody else, and you haven't got the people you've got now, right, the win mentality says, right, this is what I need to do, now I'm going to go and do it. So the win is the execution.
Right, okay.
Yeah? And if she's lost or made a mistake, she's got it. Instead of saying, oh God, I've messed up, what do I do now? The question from a winning mentality is, right, what can I learn from this and how can I improve it to get to where I need to go?
Right, okay.
That's the winning mentality, the winning attitude.
Yeah.
That's the mind focused on what she needs to do.
Right, okay.
Because a lot of times when you do lose things, especially in business, I mean, we've discussed this before as well, if you actually learn from it and apply it to future things, you're actually still winning from it eventually.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm not perfect, you're not, you guys are not perfect. I make mistakes, you make mistakes every single day. Business is not like that. Business is like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the trend is always up.
Yeah.
So even if you apply the law, you're still going to get dips. But your dips are not going to be like that.
Yeah.
Your dips are going to be kind of like, manageable.
Yeah.
Because it never goes in a straight line. So a dip is basically the precursor for growth.
Right.
That means you must go through a dip to get to growth.
Yeah.
So the winning mentality is you must win from every situation. You cannot lose.
Okay.
If you say I've lost or lost this business, I've lost the opportunity, then you're going to stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Then you question love. You know, you're not really, you're accepting, but you're not accepting objectively
Right.
because you haven't explored every way of doing
Yeah,
things.
sure.
Right? Right, and then the law, my law of business has an E on the end, so it's LAWE. And it's like an E squared. So all of the love, the acceptance, the winning is great, fantastic, you have to do that. But the E, what do you think it means?
Enterprise.
Right,
Enthusiasm.
yeah, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? But that comes with love. That comes with
that's
love.
True, yeah.
So the E is enlightenment. Right, so when you've got enlightenment, that means you've got your intelligence is growing as you learn from what you're doing in your business.
Right.
So this builds your experience. So when you come across a situation you've had before in the past that's very similar, your enlightenment will take over. So, oh yes, I understand. I know what happened there. This is what I need to do. I need to adjust it this way, and then I'll just go and do it.
Right.
So you become enlightened in business. You become a sage.
Okay.
You become a guru in your own right. And
Tuesdays with Gurus.
yeah, and then what you're able to do is see, you can't give advice unless you've been through it yourself,
Yeah.
and you've won through it.
Yeah.
So then you become enlightened, and what people are looking for, I would say more than anything else in business, is to be able to talk to somebody who's been through what they've been through, but achieved what they really, really desire.
Yeah.
And you can only do that when you talk to enlightened people
Yeah.
in that area.
Okay.
So you've got like Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. People think of those names, and they also think that those people are very enlightened,
Yeah.
right? So you have to really enlightenment. Part of enlightenment is learning. Is accepting that learning is the most important part of what you do in life.
Yeah.
And every one of those people will have made mistakes at some point,
Yeah.
but then they've won
That's
from
the beauty of it.
carried on.
Well, look at
Yeah.
Branson. He's lost.
Without
a
those
lot of
mistakes, they're not enlightened.
businesses.
Without making those errors and misjudgments and wrong calls and losing money, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
they don't become enlightened. They become ignorant,
Yeah. Right.
and they don't learn from their mistakes. So enlightenment is the biggest part of the puzzle in terms of business. And love, acceptance, and win are the precursors to
Yeah.
become enlightened.
Yeah. So that's the final bit.
That's
to
the
it.
whole thing, yeah.
Wow.
Excellent. So, thank you very much indeed, Mr.
My
Mark
pleasure.
Robinson,
Thank you so much.
for sharing that, and I'm sure Mark will be another guest speaker in the.
Near future.
The other thing I need to say
In the
before we
near
go
future.
is that sometimes when you're not doing anything, a lot of people, a lot of the time, are so busy they don't have time to think, they don't have time to rest or relax the mind.
Yeah.
Now, I have my biggest enlightened breakthroughs when I'm not doing anything.
I talk about that
Yeah.
extensively myself as well.
So, because you're actually
I'm a
creating,
big advocate of
you're
that.
creating the space for your mind to be
Yeah.
creative, and your mind has to be creative, especially in today's world, because you have to overcome different things
Yeah.
with different ways, and you have to change very fast.
Yeah.
For example, the average piece of information on the internet now lasts or is obsolete every 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So you're not learning every 7 minutes. You're obsolete. So you really, for me, and I wouldn't say it was an absolute, but I would say that 90% of my enlightened breakthroughs are when I'm on a beach, when I'm doing what I love to do,
Yeah.
not business-wise, but something I love to do with my own life,
Yeah.
personal lifestyle.
Yeah.
I have ideas. They just flood. You
Yeah.
kind of open the floodgates. Because you're not busy, you're not working,
Yeah.
so your mind goes, now I can relax.
Searches for the
And then-
solutions, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then all these ideas come in, and it's
And it doesn't
amazing.
necessarily come at that time. It can come a week later. But
Yeah, you may
because
ask a
you've
question,
given
it will come in a
yourself
week.
that
You'll be
time.
having a conversation with somebody, you get an SMS, or you're having tea, and you go like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Right, that's how it works. When you get it, I'm sure all of you had that kind of breakthrough. I'm sure all of you watching this have had that realization at some point of your life. And when you have that realization, your energy levels go spike through the roof,
Yeah.
and that's the moment of enlightenment.
So it doesn't matter how busy you are. You have to.
You have to
Have
make
that time
time
to
to
go
have
away.
to do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to do that. Otherwise, you have no growth.
And with that, we've just come to a self-realization that we'll have to cut this episode, but we're going to talk about that in the future as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More on the
More
mind,
detail.
your mind and business. So thank you very much for tuning in and watching, and it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Wow, that's brilliant.